Now, see, this is where uninformed Darlie supporters tell what they know is a lie. All right? Because we've been through this before. And she has already seen that the DA both times have said they never offered her a deal. Right? But this is how obsessed, or well, not, obsessed is not the word. She just doesn't want to be wrong in this case, right? But this is one of her appellate attorneys after visiting her and trying to convince her to take a deal offered by the state. There was no deal offered by the state. Right? And I'm going to tell you why she wouldn't consider it. Because if she were to take that deal, that means that she spent 10 years lying to her family, lying to everybody, and that she would have to admit that she killed these kids in 2005, and she would have had no more chance of getting out on a technicality, which is what she's been trying to do ever since. Because, well, you guys would be happy to get her out because the transcripts were wrong, right? Not because of evidence, right? You'd be happy to get her out on a technicality, not on the evidence. And they've still been trying that to this day. All right, because once she does that, she has to admit that she lied to her entire family and everyone. Of course she's not going to do that. She's taking that lie to the grave with her. Like a lot of convicted people do, including Ted Bundy. There was some that he wouldn't admit to. Clearly she refused. Okay, but you won't see an offer made. You got to think about this. It's a strategy. Would a guilty person prefer to die? She would rather die than admit she killed her kids. That doesn't make her innocent. That doesn't even imply that she's innocent. She would just rather die rather than admit that she killed her kids. Would a guilty person take it to the... Yes, she's taking it to the grave. Right? But we've already proved this years ago. This is why I don't argue with her. I mean, sorry. Because it's obvious that she hasn't studied it. This letter does not show a deal from the state. And think about it like this. In the first sentence is a dead giveaway. This is a letter written to Darlie. Okay, if it was written to Darlie, then why do we have it? Darlie didn't want to keep it. Darlie wanted to throw it out to the public so people would think, look, I turned down a deal from the state, when she didn't. And she uses people like this to do it. She never turned down a deal for the state. And then I'll go on. That's another reason why I won't argue with Tracy on this, because she'll stand on that forever. Her two arguments for the last 20 years has been that letter and Judge Toll having Alzheimer's 10 years after the case. But here's a guy. Now, most of these people agree with her. You get this one person that just likes to post over and over. That's her thing, I guess. Now watch. Here's a guy. Look. There is a guy who has a difference of opinion. We do know she stabbed and murdered her two sons. Doesn't matter how young she was. That's unforgivable. She was the only one who had a choice. That's unthinkable to kill your children. Of course she'd prefer to die. How could you live with yourself? Now, the response was not, well, I'm sorry you feel that way, blah, blah, blah. Here's my evidence that, here it is. Are you the dumb prick that went on Rep Ash's panel to talk about my parenting? Say it ain't so. Deflection. And if he did that, he should be getting, really. But still, he wasn't asking about being on a different panel. He was asking you to answer these questions here that you haven't. But then he went, all these people, and they have the right to think that they believed in her innocence because of things they see like this. Yes, a guilty person would prefer to die. She probably cannot live with the fact that she stabbed her two babies to death, baby boys to death, right? And then she goes, now, these are typical answers to somebody that don't support her innocence, Like when I put up, she asked me, show me something in writing from it, and I show it to her. She said, well, show me something written in crayon. She always has something to say like that, like this guy. And if he did pester her before, I understand. But still, he's talking about the case. Why not just waive her appeals if that's your logic? But she says, hey, genius. She's always got something smart to say. But you can look right at my channel and see that these things that she says about Darling are incorrect. They are. God love her, though.